Uh, I am going to use this slide. Mag-umpisa na po ako kasi mahaba po ito eh. Medyo mahaba po yung slides natin ngayon. Because this one is going to deal with traditional family norms and non-traditional alternatives on marriage and parenthood. So why are we taking this up? So this is to raise awareness that the LGBT community also has the right to get married and start the family that they want. In some countries, they are allowed to get married, and in the Philippines, they choose on their own free will, because this is a democratic country, to represent a sector of non-traditional norms or alternatives that we are facing in this ever-changing world nowadays. So our society should be able to learn to accept and respect the following, the changes that are coming nowadays sa ating mga ini-expect na culture and traditions. So we have to make some adjustments on the acceptance of all the people in our society, particularly the non-alternative or the non-traditional alternatives on marriage and parenthood. So I'm using the slide that was presented to me by Group 3 way back 2 or 3 years ago. So isa to sa mga naging finals project po nila, and I was able to use some of the slides, which is very good and very nice, na pinaghirapan naman po ng mga estudyante, and my way of appreciating it is to show it and use it, and even uploaded it online for everybody na nangangailangan po ng slides na to. Okay, in slideshare.net. Okay. So let's talk about traditional social norms. So the traditional social norms, we're dealing with the alternative or non-traditional people here, right? The LGBT community is part of the non-traditional group. And that's why we are comparing the traditional and the non-traditional, and hope that with understanding every concept, you will be able to expand your knowledge as well as your awareness of people existing on this type of living or lifestyle or culture. Kung baga sa society natin, pinakakultura na iba-iba naman kasing culture natin eh. And it starts with the smallest institution. Ang culture po natin is our family. So even families have different cultures. Ano pa kaya ang different communities and different countries? So the traditional social norms view marriage as a sacred phenomenon, that is, the family and marriage are divine and holy institutions created and maintained by God or some supreme beings. So marriage are made in heaven daw. Marriages are made in heaven. Di naman lahat. Okay? Some end up with divorce or legal separation. But marriage is supposed to be heavenly bliss, sabi nila. So it should be bringing you to the person you love, and creating a life that is for the two of you. You bear children and grandchildren and grow old together. That's what the traditional social norm is for marriage in the Philippines, right? So first, we have this traditional family norm, which is being legally married. Legally speaking, marriage is a contract made in conjunction with the law, where the free man and a free woman reciprocally engaged to live with each other during their joint lives in the union which ought to exist between husband and wife. So ang ceremony po ng marriage would be legally acknowledged if you have officiating priest na solemnized to conduct the marriage vows. For example, if you're on the ship, the captain of the ship ought to be a solemnizing officer. Meron po sila yan lisensyang kinukuha. Kapag ang captain of the ship at kinasal kayo doon impromptu, like Rose and Jack, halimbawa doon sa Titanic, kung nagplano sila nagpakasal sila agad sa captain ng barko, hindi po magiging legal ang kanilang kasal, even if they love each other in a short notice na nagkakilala sila, nagka-developan sila. Di ba? So, if the captain of the ship doesn't have a solemnizing license, hindi po magiging legal ang marriage. Ganon din po sa mga secret marriage, okay? Secret marriage na yan, kung minsan, hindi po sila legal because hindi po sila nagbe-bear ng solemnizing license. So, dapat po i-check nyo muna kung ang inyong judge kuno, okay, marriage, secret marriage before a judge is legal. And the way of checking that is checking their solemnizing papers or ID. Now, non-traditional alternative na maaari din pong maging choice. Kung ayaw nyo pong maging legally married, you can have singlehood or never married. Ito yung sinasabi nating matandang dalaga, matandang binata. Singlehood is often defined as the state of being unmarried. However, since it is common for people to be in the romantic partnership yet not married, this term also applies to the condition of having no romantic partner at all. So, ang mga nagli-live-in is also defined here na never married. Pero hindi naman singlehood kasi may ka-partner sila. That's why we call them domestic partners. So, singlehood pero kumbaga hindi ito ang ibig sabihin dito ay never married ha, na pagiging single. Maaaring ikaw ay choice mo tulad ng pelikulang sino ba yun? Jody Santa Maria and Richard Yap and Ian Veneracion, di ba? They choose to be single. At the end of the story, they choose to be single and happy, di ba? And don't want any romantic partner at all kasi enough na daw yung mahalin lang nila ang sarili nila. Now, next one is non-marital cohabitation. This is the live-in na sinasabi ko kanina. Cohabitation is an arrangement where two or more people are not married but they live together. They are often involved in a romantic or sexually intimate relationship on a long-term or permanent basis. So sometimes ito pong non-marital cohabitation bears children. Nagkakaroon po ng mga anak and if you're not married, ang tawag po dyan ay non-marital cohabitation. Next one is traditional family norm. Usually, most of us in the world are married only once. Monogamy is a form of dyadic relationship in which an individual has only one partner during his lifetime. Wait lang ha, may class po kasi ako eh. I'll just post the recording first. Post. Oh my God, I never even... Wait. Where's my camera? I wasn't able to play it. Oh, I did. Okay. Traditional family norm. Sorry, I got cut off kasi may nag-message pong klase ko. So, okay. And it's very important. Right now, it's like my evening class na kasi. But at the same time, while waiting for them to submit their outputs, I am doing this recorded lecture video. So, married once, monogamy to. Ang pinag-uusapan dito ay monogamy or sticking with the one person till death do us part. So, I forgot the heads. Okay, so they only have one partner during their entire lifetime. So, sa buong buhay nila, meron po silang isang partner lamang. Meron silang silver anniversary, meron silang golden anniversary, and I don't know what the 75th wedding anniversary is. So, most of the Filipinos have monogamous traditional family norm. Okay. Now, non-traditional alternative is being remarried or nag-asawa muli. Ang pag-aasawa muli or to remarry is to get married again after already having been married at least once. Ang iba po hanggang 5 times married. 'Di ba? May mga artistang ganito na tulad nila Elizabeth Taylor who's been married like 5 or 6 times, I think. And even Brad Pitt has been married twice or thrice. I don't know. Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, halos sila. Kung minsan nagre-rego doon na nga lang sila ng partners eh. Partner ni Tom Cruise, magiging partner naman ni Brad Pitt or ni Alec Baldwin. Ay nako. Okay, so hindi lang partner, kundi married talaga. Naghihiwalay, then mag-aasawa ulit. Some marriages end in divorce and others end when one of the spouses die. Okay, kapag naging byudo or byuda si mommy or si daddy. Even if being married didn't agree with them the first time, many people do decide to remarry. Kasi sabi nila, baka yung unang kasal ko pagkakamali. Sige, magme-marry ako ulit. Baka mamaya, this time, it will be okay. Ano yon? Okay, another sorry kasi bumagsak pala yung pintuan ng lakas ng kalabog. I thought it was something else. Mahalakas kasi ang hangin. Okay, non-traditional. So, before this, I talked about monogamy and remarriage. Right now, we're going to talk about another non-traditional alternative, which is multiple marriages. So, or polygamy. So, polygamy is the practice of marrying multiple spouses. When a man is married to more than one wife at a time, sociologists call this polygyny. When a woman is married to more than one husband, it's called polyandry. So, kung ang lalaki, polygyny. Kung ang babae, polyandry. But both of these, in general term, is called polygamy. So, ito po yung usually mga nag-convert ng Islam or the Islam religion, they are allowed to have as many as 5 wives, di ba? 4 to 5 wives. Sa babae, parang hindi ko pa alam kung anong sector ang nag-aalaw niyan, but paano rin nagiging legal yun, di ba? Multiple marriage siya. Babae, I don't know how. Pero, let's research on that one. Kung hindi ko to naisip. Next one is traditional family norm. So, sa traditional na family na normal na kino-consider natin is the heterosexual marriage, di ba? Kapag same-sex marriage na, parang medyo iba na yung reaction natin, which is the non-traditional norm na nowadays. So, heterosexual marriage is a marriage engaged between two opposite sex. Yan ang iniisip nating pinaka-normal, which is like the mindset of heteronormativity, na only or natatanging ang babae at lalaki lamang ang kinikilala nilang marriage. Now, meron na po tayong, hindi man sa Philippines, but in some countries around the world, we have the same-sex marriage, and that is the marriage of two people of the same sex or gender. They entered into a civil or religious ceremony. So, maaari pong maaari pong because of civil ceremony, which is like mga judge or officiating authorities lang nagko-conduct, or pero sa church po parang wala pa yatang church na same-sex marriage, di ba? So it's always civil. Sorry. Balik tayo. Okay, same-sex marriage. So, we have examples of same-sex marriage, Icy Guerra and Lisa Dino, diba? They got married in the US, not here in the Philippines. Sino pa ba? Celebrities. Ellen DeGeneres, at saka yung kanyang live-in, but I don't know kung they are married, pero confirmed one is Lisa and Icy Guerra. Okay. Traditional family norm is endogamous marriage. So, endogamy is the practice of marrying within a specific social group, caste, or ethnic group, rejecting those from others as unsuitable for marriage or other close personal relationship. Endogamy is common in many cultures and ethnic groups. It's also included in, lalo na po sa Islam, you need to convert first to the religion bago kayo maging acceptable ang inyong marriage. So, ang endogamous is like you live on the same class, same cultural existence, religious existence, like Iglesia ni Cristo, di ba? So, if you are going to get married as Iglesia ni Cristo, to an Iglesia ni Cristo member, I think you have to convert to their religion first, right? Parang yun yata nalaman ko sa kapatid ko kasi my brother is an INC member. After he married an INC member na talagang sarado INC po talaga ang kanilang family. Sa caste naman, itong caste system, ito yung nag-i-exist sa India. Na kapag ikay maharlika lang din ang pwede mong pakasalan. If you're Kshatriya, kailangan siya, or the warrior caste, kailangan ka po warrior mo lang pakasalan mo. If you are an untouchable, or sila yung mga yung mga outcast ng society, kailangan outcast lang din ho mapangasawa mo. You can never marry above or below your station. Okay? Dito naman sa atin, dalawa lang yan mahirap at mayaman. Sa kanila kasi, 5 or 6 yata ang levels ng kanilang society, starting from the highest, which is the priest, and then the warriors and the rulers, and then the business or mga may-ari ng business, the merchants, and then the workers, and then the outcast. Parang ganun yung caste system ng India. Next one is interfaith marriage. Ito sinasabi ko sa inyo with Islam. So, interfaith marriage, sometimes called a mixed marriage, is a marriage between spouses professing different religion. Okay. Meron din pong pinipilit na mag-convert to the same religion. Meron din po na na tinatanggap naman na mixed marriage na magkaiba ang religion. Although interfaith marriages are most often contracted as civil marriages, in some instances, they may be contracted with, as a religious marriage. Usually, civil lang to Hindi siya ina-acknowledge ng religion kasi it's either the two of you are in one religion together. Kasi interfaith marriage, meron din pong hesitant na hindi po nagiging magpareho ang kanilang religion. Okay, next one. Non-traditional alternative interracial marriage. Okay, so traditional natin, monogamy lang to at saka, ano pa ba yung isa? Basta puro to non-traditional na ang pinag-uusapan. You can find it sa inyo pong module na I'll give you the page na lang later. Baka hindi ko na i-send sa inyo yung module nyo. But if I did, you can check this out as chapter 4. So, interracial marriage is a form of marriage outside a specific social group involving spouses who belong to different races or racialized ethnicities. So, tulad po ni, sino ba to? Prince Harry. Ang kanyang wife ay American actress. Tapos siya ay British. American and British. I don't know if she's an actress. Merkel ba yan? No, I forgot the name. But she's an American and also, commoner, kumbaga ang tawag sa kanila. Commoner na hindi sila maharlika or noble-blooded like Prince Harry. Dapat po royalty din ang mapapangasawa ni Prince Harry. Pero they choose to have a commoner wife. So, I just removed the camera, guys, kasi medyo nadidistract din ako every time every time I have to check the messages. Medyo busy po ang messenger ko ngayon regarding my overload classes. So, interracial marriage. So, American and British po sila. Wait lang po I'll just confirm. Okay, dito na po tayo sa non-traditional alternative again of heterogeneous or heterogeneous na marriage. Let's check. Forgot the term. Sorry. heterosexual marriage, another alternative would be your non-traditional my God, busy talaga, sorry. Okay. So the traditional family norm is endogamous marriage or being married. Ulitin ko na lang po yung explanation ha. Sorry guys. I will just cut this video later. Yung mali. Okay. So sa endogamous marriage, meron po tayong belonging to the same or specific social group, caste, or ethnic group. Rejecting those that from others as unsuitable for marriage or other close personal relationship. So, endogamy is common in many cultures and group. Ang endogamous marriage, ang magiging sample nito is having and membership of the same caste at the same time being married to the same caste system. Na-explain ko na po ito kanina. Oh my God. Ang gulo natin. Sorry, ang dami kasing distraction. So, in the endogamous marriage, ang non-traditional niya ay interfaith marriage, which is the marriage of different religions. Usually, civil at hindi po siya religiously conducted kasi dapat po endogamy or pareho ang religion in order to be married in a religious rite. So, non-traditional alternative is also interracial. Magkaiba po ang lahi. Tulad po nito ni Prince Harry na British at ang kanyang wife na American. Next one is non-traditional alternative interclass marriage. So, hypergamy ang tawag po dito. Hypergamy or colloquially referred to as marrying up, occasionally referred to as hierogamy, is a term used in social science for the act of marrying a person or marrying a spouse of higher caste or social status than themselves. So, mula sa mahirap, nag-asawa ng mayaman. Okay, pwede yan. Now, sa caste system din ng India, hindi po siya dapat dapat nasa same caste ka lang magpapakasal. Kung ikaw ay untouchable din ang dapat na magiging asawa mo. But nowadays, nagiging alternative na rin yata na religion nila ng Hinduism na tanggapin na lang ang interclass marriage. Which is sometimes ang isang untouchable ay nag-asawa ng isang maharlika. Right? Okay, traditional family norm to adult household. Kumbaga, merong nanay at tatay. So, married couple before they are termed household, family, or subfamily indicates that household, family, or subfamily is maintained by husband and wife. So, meron pong dalawang adult sa loob ng pamamahay. And that is the husband and the wife. Then, we have also the non-traditional alternative, which is communal living. Traditional dapat, babae at lalaki lang, dalawa lang, nanay at tatay lang sa bahay. Pero ito, meron din pong communal living. So, an intentional community of people living together, sharing common interests, property, possessions, resources, and some places. Now, maaaring ang communal living ay yung sama-sama kayo because parang yun ang mayroon kayong common na bagay na pinaglalaban. For example, a home for pregnant women. Okay, that's communal living. Nakikisama ka at nakikitira at lahat kayo ay may purpose na bigyan ng tulong ang mga babaeng undergoing ng unwanted pregnancy. Now, meron din pong bahay ampunan. That's also communal living ang tawag po dyan. Next one is of the non-traditional alternatives of household, a multi-adult household. It is a multi-generational family such as those consisting of more than 2 generations living under the same roof. So, si lolo at si lola kasama sa bahay, that's a multi-adult household, which is also non-traditional. The traditional daw talaga is magkasama ang nanay at tatay lamang sa bahay. Pero in the Philippines, I think, mas normal sa atin, mas traditional sa atin ang multi-adult household, di ba? Nandito si tita at si tito, di ba? maraming adults sa bahay. Then, the next one na non-traditional alternative is affiliated families. So, means any child, stepchild, grandchild, parent, step-parent, grandparent, spouse, kapatid mo, mother-in-law mo, biyanan mo na babae, biyanan mo na lalaki, son-in-law mo, kung ikaw may-ari ng bahay, daughter-in-law, in-law, yung mga, kumbaga yung mga dumikit na sa family ninyo, na they are your adoptive relationships and you share the same roof. Next one, traditional family norm. Ang traditional natin paniniwala is family is defined as a specific group of people that may be made up of parents, children, parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, etc. So, an example of a family is a set of parents living with their children. Ngayon, meron naman tayong mga non-traditional alternatives. We have voluntary childrenless na mga couples, di ba? So, they voluntarily decide not to have children. And in the voluntary choice, child-free po sila. Okay? So, ayaw nila ng bata. Some couples only adopt dogs or cats kasi ayaw daw nila ng magkaanak. Okay? So, voluntary childless po yun. Meron naman pong traditional family norm. Bakit umulit ang traditional family norm? Okay. Traditional family norm, 2 parents living together. Children living with both biological parents. So, traditional yan. Diba? Tayo, diba? Usually ganyan. Non-traditional is being a single parent. Single parent families are families with children under age of 18 headed by a parent who is widowed or divorced or not remarried or by a parent who has never married. So, sometimes, di ba, ang iba gusto magkaanak lang, ayaw nila ng asawa. So, they are single parent. Others are being hiniwalayan, separated, or they are legally separated or iniwan, abandoned. Okay? So, usually, ang case po, abandonment, di ba? Sa atin, kaya, children end up with only a single parent kasi nag-asawa na naman yung isang parent nila at iniwan sila. Now, non-traditional alternative also include joint custody. So, itong joint custody ay legal custody of a child that is shared by both parents after divorce or separation. Diba? In any paghihiwalay talaga, ang bata talagang kawawa. Pag ang bata ay 7 years pababa, the child doesn't have a choice but to live with the mother. Kasi, yan po ang sa batas natin. 7 years old pa baba, matik na yan, sa nanay ang anak. Pero after 7 years, the child gets to choose between parents. And, oh my God, I don't want to put any child under the stress of choosing between 2 parents. Minsan, mahal nila pareho ang parents eh. Other times, meron talaga silang kinikilingan. Pero paano kung mahal ng bata ang dalawang parents? And both parents love the child. Diba? Kawawa naman. Now, non-traditional alternative also includes step families. Families that is formed on the remarriage of a divorced or a widowed person and that includes 1 or more children. Tawag sa kanila, step families or blended families. The mother has has children from the first marriage and the husband also has 2 children from the previous marriage. And so, they combine together these children and live as a blended family. Now, traditional family norm is that usually parents are the source of education ng bata. Parents are involved in their children's education and children are more engaged with their schoolwork longer and achieve better learning outcomes. Children can both inspire and empower them as they go through their own educational journey. So, ang mga parents natin ang bahala po sa pagpapaaral sa atin. Sila din po ang tumutulong sa atin after school events like homeworks and trainings, di ba? Sila nagbibigay sa atin ng extra lessons at the same time, nag-guide sa atin for our education kung ano pipiliin nating kurso, right? And that's the normal family norm, traditional family norm. Meron din pong parent as a source of religion, di ba? So, tulad po sa akin, My brother is an Iglesia ni Cristo member, but my son is very close to him, my eldest son. And one day, he invited my son to attend the religious event. And then, not just one time, tuloy-tuloy na inimbita niya. And then, I was sad that I realized that one Sunday, imbis sa amin kasama yung anak ko, who was already like grade 5 pa lang ng time na yun, grade 5, grade 6. He went with his tito. So, medyo na pagsabihan ko yung brother ko na until he is 18 and free to choose the religion he wants to take, sa amin muna siya sasama. Okay? So, kami kasi yung parents niya. So, we should be the key source of his religious affiliation. So, after ng 18 niya na, he's free to decide whatever religion he choose to be. Now, traditional family norm, parents should be the key source of protection. Parents who also protect their children's safety by monitoring their whereabouts and activities to prevent them both from physical and psychological harm. So tayo, hindi tayo mapakali, di ba? Pag anak natin, kami mga magulang, pag wala pa yung mga anak namin sa bahay ng gabi, mag-worry na kami. Baka may nangyari, baka nasaktan, di ba? So hindi po natin maalisin sa parents. Kaya kahit inag kayo ng parents ninyo at bigyan kayo ng curfew, please, huwag mo sasamaan loob nyo. Now, parents also are the key source of recreation sa traditional family norm. Recreation, leisure, and sports activities play an important role in the communities, including improving the health and well-being of a child. So, sa traditional family norm, parents din po nagpo-provide ng lahat niyan, di ba? Mga laruan, nung kayo bata pa, anything na maglilibang sa inyo habang wala kayong ginagawang schoolwork, di ba? Bibili ng gadgets nyo, magpapasubscribe ng internet, di ba? Sila yung nagiging source ng inyong recreation or go out somewhere with the family. Now, non-traditional alternatives, may mga parents po na hindi naman nagiging key source ng education or schooling ng anak. May ibang parents na pinapaubaya ito sa school or the institution. For example, yung mga boarding school. Pinapadala nila sa ibang bansa ang kanilang anak, and then at the end of the school year, saka lang po uuwi ang anak nila, and then they will be involved with the parenting. So tulad po ng Harry Potter, di ba? They live in Hogwarts School for the entire school year. And then, at the end of the school year, uuwi sila to have a vacation. So, ganun din po ang non-traditional alternatives. So, wag na lang po sa Harry Potter sa tunay po ng buhay, meron din po mga schools na hindi Hogwarts na pinapadala ng mga anak. Okay? Now, we have also non-traditional alternative. Yung mga churches ang nag-i-involve sa pagbibigay ng rearing or pagpapalaki ng mga bata. Ang churches ang nagiging involved. Now, how to this one? The church is the catalyst for social change in the community. The church is a God-appointed channel for ministry to children and families. The church brings local understanding and resources. It can also offer vision, ownership, and a long-term commitment to the child development process. Okay. Most of you, I don't know pero sa mga born again po kasi, our children, matik na po, nasa Sunday school yan kapag kami nag-church. And they have a different training. And some parents, usually, mas gusto na, dito sa amin halimbawa, yung ministry namin, we have the Rondalia group for children, and then yung school namin ay church-based. Dati, yung private school na una kong tinuruan, church-based po siya. And the church is given the authority on how to raise the children. Halimbawa, one example for this is kapag hindi po nagsisimba ang tatay on a Sunday, tatay or nanay on a Sunday, pag absent po ang magulang, isa man dyan sa dalawang parents, ang bata ay hindi ina-admit agad sa school pagdating ng Monday kung hindi niya dala ang kanyang magulang. So, kailangan po, the parent has to bow down to the authority of the school. Kasi scholarship po ang binibigay. Kumbaga, libreng pag-aaral in a private school. Kapag ikaw ay umaasa sa free tuition, kailangan ang obligasyon mo ay to attend church and to attend Bible studies. Parang ganun yung naging approach ng school namin dati. Now, also non-traditional alternatives is example yung government or the police. So takes the role of the government in ensuring children's rights within the family extremely complex and delicate. Kasi kapag gobyerno po, usually nangyayari ito sa DSWD. Now, kapag hindi mo na kaya yung anak mo, you leave your child in an orphanage, di ba? Yun ang nangyayari sa mga telenovela. Iniiwan nila sa orphanage yung mga anak nila. And usually, children who grew up in an orphanage ay hindi po normal ang kanilang outlook sa buhay. They might feel abandoned. They might feel negative emotions to their childhood. At kung masakit pa, they might be physically and I don't know what kind of abuses would be or mentally abused there in the orphanage. Ganon din po sa Boys Town. Now, if a minor person or a minor child commits a crime, usually sa Boys Town po siya dinidiretso. So, that is an alternative kung saan ang isang magulang ay pinapabayaan ng kanyang anak to sa under the custody of the government. Okay. Non-traditional alternative naman, in contrast with the traditional na ang parents na nagbibigay, nagpo-provide ng recreation sa mga anak, dito naman, clubs and professional sports ang involved. Ang parents ay pinapaubayan sila sa mga clubs and sport events. For example, swimming. Enroll ka ng parents mo sa swimming class or sa piano class or piano lessons or ballet class. So, lahat yan. Doon kanila i-entrust, hindi sila yung personally na magtuturo sa iyo. Now, what slide are we? 54 kasi to So I hope I'm giving enough time for all of this. Traditional family norm is until death do us part. So it is part of the traditional wedding vows, and this signifies that the married couple intends to spend the remainder of their lives together. Pag namatay ng isa, yun lang makakapaghiwalay sa kanilang kamatayan. So ibig sabihin, they intend to stay together, married until one of them is dead or both of them are dead. Non-traditional alternative. So until divorce or separation, imbis na until death do us part, until divorce or separation do us part. A divorce is a legal action between married people to terminate their married relationship. It can be referred to as dissolution of marriage and is basically the legal action that ends the marriage before the death of either spouse. So napuputol po ang marriage because of divorce or separation. Traditional family norm is that the male is always the provider, meaning that he should have a good job and earn a steady income, one that enables him to provide food, shelter, and nice things in life to his family. So, yun nga usually, di ba, nakakatawa tong picture na to because I can explain this like, pagdating ng sweldo, si Mr. kukuha lang ng konti, ibibigay ang big chunk ng sweldo kay Mrs. to manage, di ba? Yan ang usual nating normal tradition. That's our tradition. Pero ngayon, meron na pong mga non-traditional alternative such as female as the provider, meaning that she have a good job and earns a steady income, one that enables a person to provide food and shelter for the family. Ito naman, ang babae naman ang may trabaho. Si Mr. nasa bahay lang. Or si Mr. nagtatrabaho din but mas konti ang sweldo kay Mrs. Now, non-alternative, maliban po dun sa female as provider, na kumukontra po dun sa male as the provider for the family, is dual career. Sorry, harong spelling yan. That should be C-A-R-R-E-E. Double E yan ha, R-S. Hindi careers, double career or a dual career family in which both parents have careers. The term is typically used only for those who work away from home. And it does not include those who work at home. Tulad po halimbawa, nagba-buy and sell si mother, si father ay nagtatrabaho, ang buy and sell na nasa bahay lang, usually hindi yan referred to as a career. It's just a sideline, diba? Ang career ay you have a growth, professional growth, tulad po ng pagiging teacher. Pwede kang maging principal, pwede kang maging head of school, and that's a career. And usually, career-based have advancement rather than temporary work. So, both parents have permanent jobs. Non-traditional alternative, ay isa pa pong example ay commuter marriage. A commuter marriage is a marriage between spouses who live apart, usually because of locations of their job. Ito po yung mga abroad na mga parents and who regularly travel to be together as on weekends. Hindi lang po kailangan abroad. Maaari din po na ang inyong tatay ay tuwing linggo lang po umuwi. And that's a commuter marriage. Or sometimes si nanay ang pupunta sa trabaho ni tatay kasi may mga weekend na magtatrabaho si tatay but nanay needs to see tatay. Diba? To get allowance or para rin makumusta ang kanyang asawa. Commuter marriage is a growing form of distant relationship. Now, traditional family norm, male as the head or authority in the household. This means that you must have paid more than half of the total household bill, including the rent or mortgage, utility bills, insurance, and most of the gastusin in the household is paid by the authority. At kasi sino of the male member of the family. Usually, kapag ganito pong sistema, di ba, whoever pays the bill has the more power in the family. So, kapag si mama ang may mas malaking kita or breadwinner, it makes sometimes the mother has more power. Pero hindi ko yung sinasabing matik na, pero the sense of being powerful is whenever who pays the most or who has the money the most. I don't know With some observations that I have, yun po nakikita ko. Na kapag si Mrs. ay malaki ang kita, parang under si Mr., di ba? So, nangyayari is, mas kinukonsulta si mother kaysa kay father. Or, sometimes, wala rin pong father, and the mother is the head or authority in the house. It's called matriarchy. Sa tatay po ay patriarchy. Now, androgynous relationship or androgyny is the combination of masculine and feminine characteristic into an ambiguous form. When androgyny refers to mix biological sex characteristics in human, it often refers to intersex people. As a gender identity, androgynous individuals may refer themselves as non-binary, genderqueer, or gender neutral. Now, androgynous relationships, mix po siya ng male and female authority sa ating household. Kasi maaring makonsulta both the nanay and the tatay in equal form. Now, traditional family norm, most families should be self-supporting and independent. Means they are being able to attend to their own needs and to make and assume duty for your choice while thinking about both people around you and your environment. So, your family, hindi na po kayo umaasa sa iba. Pero sa non-traditional alternative, in the US, they have the welfare. Kumbaga sa atin, wala tayo niyan The government gives them a paycheck to live. Yun, meron tayo, 4 Ps. Okay. So, it refers to the government packages that provide monetary or other resources to individuals or businesses who can't help themselves. So, sa 4 Ps kasi, ito yung mga parents na in-identify ng DSWD who needs monetary assistance in order na mapatapos nila mag-aral ang kanilang mga anak hanggang high school. Or I think college yata meron din sa MPC kung mga students. May mga 4 Ps din po tayo. Now, social security. Ito po yung mga pamilya na nabubuhay sa pension. Okay? So, that's their taxes and then sila yung beneficiary. Pero sa US, social security nila, parang tinutulungan din nila, parang sa welfare, tumutulong din to sa kanila. Now, traditional family norm, in the Philippines, it's premarital chastity. Diba? Bawal kang makipag-sex kapag hindi ka pakasal. But, marami pong kabataan sa ngayon ay hindi na po ito nasusunod. Chastity is a virtue related to temperance, one of the 7 Christian virtues, and it is defined as refraining from any sexual conduct or romantic relationship. So, even in America po, meron na pong move nito that they remain virgins kasi meron silang mga virgin rings. Pinapakita nila na it's their commitment na maging virgin until the day na they get married. The term is closely associated and can be used interchangeably with sexual abstinence, especially in the premarital and extramarital context. Kumbaga hindi lang, chastity, maaaring magiging chaste ka rin na hindi ka mag-involve in extramarital relationship kapag ikaw ay married na. Pero it usually refers to premarital sex. Ngayon, marami na pong non-traditional alternatives, pre- or non-marital intercourse, sexual intercourse between individuals who are not married to one another. So, meron din pong extramarital sex. Ito yung pagkakaroon ng relationship outside your marriage. So, voluntary sexual intercourse between persons not married to each other. And one of the members of that relationship is married. So, extramarital or both of them are married. Marital exclusivity of your marriage means that there are parts of you and your relationship that nobody else knows. Okay? Marital chastity. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka magiging involved with another person. You just stay within your marriage. You cling to your marriage vows. Hindi kahit konting pag-flirt sa ibang tao ay hindi mo nagagawin because you are maritally exclusive. Nandun lang yung marriage mo lang. Problema nyo within your marriage is sa marriage nyo lang. Hindi mo pinagkakalat sa iba. Now, there are non-traditional alternatives, however, like extramarital relationship, wherein there is sex occurring when a married person engages in sexual activity with someone other than his or her spouse. The term may be applied to the situation of a single person having sex with a married person. Or from a religious perspective, it could refer to sex between people who are not in a conjugal relationship. So, in some religion, pag hindi kayo kasal, it's called extramarital relationship. But usually, extramarital relationship refers to having sex with a married person. Okay. Meron din pong ganito. Sexually open marriage. Open marriage is a form of non-monogamy in which the partners of a dyadic marriage agree that each may engage in extramarital sexual relationships without being regarded as infidelity. Hindi niya daw ituturing itong pagtataksil. Kasi parang legal sa kanila magkaroon ng lover, magkaroon ng husband ang isang relationship at ang isang wife. So, open po yung relationship ni wife and ni husband. Inaalaw ni husband si wife. Paano po ba nangyayari ito? Sometimes, or si wife na pabayan si husband to have other women. Case-to-case basis to Diba? Kung minsan, si babae cannot give children to lalaki, hinayaan niya magkaanak sa ibang lalaki. Or lalaki, hindi niya mabigyan or masatisfy ang sexual needs ni babae, hinahayaang magkaroon ng relasyon with another guy. So, they are open marriage na kumbaga ay ang pagpapayag na magkaroon ng other lover other than your husband or wife. So, last one is non-traditional alternative is intimate friendship. So, it is intimacy or closeness, describing familiarity or friendship that's very close. In other words, if you're intimate with someone, you have a feeling of closeness and it doesn't have to be your spouse. It can be your friend. Okay, non-traditional alternatives. Parang napapasok dito sa isip ko si Bea Alonzo and John Lloyd Cruz. Ang latest advertisement nila with Jollibee. Parang doon ko nakikita yung yung ganito na pangyayari. It can't be your girlfriend or boyfriend, pero pwede mo siyang maging friend. But you are of the opposite sex, di ba? Sometimes, meron din pong friends with benefits. Pwede mo rin ditong masabi. Sa level po ng intimate friendship. Nagkakaroon sila ng sex, but they are just friends. Hindi sila relationship talaga. So, intimate friendship. Maaring ito ay closeness sexually or closeness mentally or psychologically or just pure closeness with a person na non-sexual naman. Diba? Now, so we finish with the 54 slides ng traditional and non-traditional relationships po in marriage and family, marriage and parenthood. So, wag po tayo magtataka kapag tayo po ay na-expose sa mga ganito pong non-alternative or non-traditional alternatives. Kasi normal na po itong nangyayari sa ating mga, what do you call this one? Society nowadays. So, we must all be open-minded, okay? So, we have to be open-minded and accept people for who they are. And let this not affect who you are, okay? Kung ano po yung paniniwala nyo, it's okay. But we have to learn to respect other people's privacy and other people's lives and how they make their own choices. You make your own choice. Hayaan mo sila and hahayaan ka rin nila. So, just be aware that I hope that this topic has also helped you in welcoming some changes dito po sa gender related nating mga topics as well as pertaining to your sexuality and how it affects our society as a whole. So good day and thank you everyone for listening, and ang inyo pong mga gagawin ay nasa Google Classroom, YouTube, and group chat. So see you there. Thank you.